One less known fact about dementia is that people under the age of 65 can also get it. This is known as Younger Onset Dementia. There are over 23,000 people living with Younger Onset Dementia, and some people as young as 35 have sadly been diagnosed. Of course, people who aren't retired will have very different issues to deal with. Working to pay off a mortgage and still caring for children at school are just some of the differences. For many of these people, it takes a longer time to get a diagnosis, as doctors don't expect people of this age to develop dementia. For younger people and their families, a diagnosis of dementia can be an enormous shock. However, for some, they may be relieved as finally they have an answer. The important thing to remember is to get help early. The earlier the better. Don't wait until you're in trouble.
Younger onset dementia, by definition, is dementia which has its first symptoms before the age of 65. We typically think of dementia as starting at an older age, and that's true, in the 70s, 80s or 90s. But we've seen patients who develop dementia in their 30s or 40s. These are usually associated with some inherited form of dementia, where there is a strong family history that goes through several generations. There are special issues with younger onset dementia. People are still working, people are still driving, they often have children at home. It produces extra stresses on the family and on the children growing up. Services are largely geared for older people, and so younger people find it hard to fit in to some of the day centres, or if they need to go into a nursing home, into the facilities that would house them. Support is really important for the person with dementia and for their family carer. Having family and friends come around, talk to them, understand what's going on, engage them in activities, is really helpful in reducing the stress and the burden.
Younger onset dementia has meant that Noel gave up work and I gave up work. I went part-time, then gave up work. So it's massively changed our lives and changed our financial situation, but also changed our understanding of ourselves as working people contributing to society.
I've had to take over all the financial payments of everything, which is okay, I don't mind that, I can do that. But it's just because I can't discuss anything, there's no one to discuss things with, so if we need to do something, I have to decide it all myself. And I'll sometimes go and say, oh, so what do you think about this? Because he's younger, the younger onset group, he was still working when this all this happened and had his own business. And it's been an absolute financial disaster so the whole year has been, apart from the illness, a financial absolute disaster. That with the younger onset, you know, they are still involved in business, whereas a lot of older people have retired and everything's under control.
And we went and saw the GP that Rosie in fact knew professionally for 20 years. And we walked in there, he gave her the test of the 30 questions. He said, sorry, but we didn't know what he said. Sorry, but he said, I think you have dementia, probably of the Alzheimer's type, and you'll need to stop nursing today. Now that was a shock. I found it quite difficult. It was always a joke amongst us. I'm 7 years older than Ros, and so I married a child bride, and I was ready for retirement and leave Ros to do all the work. That was the joke, but the reality was a bit more serious, and I found it quite difficult. So it was probably 3 months after the diagnosis that we joined up with the course, with the early onset course, which was a day over 6 or 8 weeks, where we really addressed the issues. It was, from my point of view, as a real salvation.